Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the Summer 2026 Academic Personnel Hiring and Processing webinar. My name is Eric Cuevas. I am from the Office of Human Resources. I am HR Operations Lead. And joining us today is our Faculty Affairs team. We have Yesenia Estrada.
Good morning.
Good morning, Yessie. We also have Albert Alcazar.
Good morning, everyone.
Thanks, Albert. And we also have Kim Posen McConnell.
Hi, nice to see everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Yeah, so it'll be a joint presentation. We will have some time at the end for Q&A, as with always. But so we have quite a packed agenda this time around. Just wanted to, obviously, welcome everyone, but also we're going to talk a little bit about mandatory trainings for all employees, cover a little bit about dates and deadlines, salary information, appointment letters, cancellation of appointments, Article 21, as far as summer term appointments go, entitlements, and we'll also be covering a bit on workload and additional pays. There'll be an update on 4662s that we'll be covering jointly, the faculty affairs team and I. There'll also be a conversation on PARs, calculators, and kind of where we're going with that in the future, as well as kind of going over the summer module. And then we'll leave some time open for Q&A. There's just a reminder for everybody, there is mandated training for all employees. So every person working at CSUN, whether staff, faculty, or student, they are required to take a basic set of courses, which are outlined on the left-hand side of the screen there. These are mandated as a result of either legislation or system-wide executive orders, based on bargaining agreements, those sort of things. And this training should be done during work hours, meaning that when these trainings are being done, that it is reportable, compensable time. So just they should not be done outside of work hours. Should you have any questions in regards to this mandated training, please reach out to csu-learn@csun.edu. You can also reach out to Heather Kennedy directly, should you have further questions on this. But okay, going more into dates and deadlines. So for summer 2026, the academic dates that have been posted for summer session 1 for the 12-week course, we have May 26th through August 18th. Summer session 2, the 6-week course, the first half of it would be May 26th through July 7th. And then summer session 3 for the last 6 weeks of the session would be July 8th through August 18th. Three holidays to kind of keep in mind as far as the structuring of summer and some days that are paid holidays. So Monday, May 25th, that is Memorial Day. Friday, June 19th, it's observed Juneteenth. And Friday, July 3rd is our Independence Day that's being observed. So just want to keep that in mind, especially those last two dates for Juneteenth and Independence Day, that would impact sessions 2 primarily, and session 1 as well. So the module will be opening. I have it slated for tomorrow just to kind of get everything kind of figured out, but perhaps I'll be uploading probably by the end of this presentation. I'll kind of have everything ready in the summer faculty module. So yeah, so tentatively opening May 1st, but perhaps maybe even earlier. So like I mentioned, the start and end dates, weeks and academic work days that have been confirmed. The faculty pay calculation for low enrollment or for enrollment-based compensation are June 6th for sessions 1 and 2 and July 18th for session 3. We also have some defaulted kind of module keying and approval dates. Usually align for sessions 1 and 2 with the last Friday of June. And in session 3, I believe that's the last Thursday and Friday for July. PARs due to HR. I believe that's the week prior to payroll cutoff for when the payment's going to get issued out. So for sessions 1 and 3, that would be in August, and for session 2, that would be in July. And the pay, since it is paid out in lump sum, it's paid out through sort of an immediate pay process for summer faculty. Sessions 1 and 3 can be expected on August 31st, and session 2 can be expected on July 30th. As for R11 academic student employees who are working over the summer, they will be under the following classifications. It would be under summer teaching associates, the 2324 job code, or monthly graduate assistants, 2325. We are currently asking the departments to hire these via a PAR form, and you would send them to your HR operations technician. They are paid on a monthly basis as opposed to lump sum, like I described the summer faculty. And this will be reflected on master payroll certification. So you would be able to approve and review the time of what's going to get issued out for these appointments. Um, just kind of posted like a brief summary as far as when we need those summer TA PARs. I mean, it aligns with the start of the session for 1 and 2, and then for 3, it'd be in July. I just wanted to remind everybody that for monthly GAs, yeah, that the way it would kind of be structured out is that if they get hired, it would align with master payroll. So for work done in June, the pay will kind of get issued at the end of the month. It's never paid in advance, so just kind of wanted to clear that up. Sometimes we get questions on that. Um, Yeah, so two separate systems for departments to enter transactions this summer. We're going to delineate that, and we'll talk about that more, further on the presentation. But kind of want to clarify this and summarize it as best as I can. So, for Solar HR, we have the summer module. So this would be for entering summer session courses, and you would be using the 2457 job code. So for that summer faculty items, they would be entered in the summer module. As for any kind of state or extended learning additional pay, that would be entered into the additional pay module. So that would be entered through a sort of two-step process. You would enter a pre-authorization prior to the effective date of the work when it's slated to begin, and use the appropriate job code. So 4662, 2403, 2322s, and 2363s. So employees without an active faculty appointment will be working as a 4662. They will need to be hired through CHRS recruitment. We will have slides later on describing and kind of going a little bit more in detail as far as um, how this process is kind of done, as there's kind of a delineation between um, two different workflows, basically for 4662s that are being done for faculty members and 4662s for those who do not have an active faculty appointment. So it's kind of two separate workflows, but we'll get into that. All right, so I think we're going to turn it over to Faculty Affairs to cover salary and appointments. I think the next slide is on enrollment-based compensation. So I believe this is your slide, Albert.
Sure. Thank you.
No
Thank you,
problem.
Eric. Okay, so enrollment-based compensation. Faculty who you're hiring that worked in the preceding academic year, which is actually this academic year, you're going to pay them the 1/30th rate. And so we'll look at, some slides in terms of like, how that's calculated. The same thing with department chairs and or 12 other 12-month faculty. So our department chairs are 12-month, and you may have lecturers who are 12-month as well, or even tenure track faculty. With chairs, they also carry a stipend to their salary. We'll look at the calculation as to, how to get their current salary to academic year rate. And with new faculty, as Eric mentioned earlier, or let's just say with faculty in general, you're going to hire them using the 2457 job code, but newly hired faculty, so those that didn't necessarily teach in the prior academic year, we're going to, the salary minimum is applicable here, but again, we defer to the department as to how much you are going to pay between the minimum and the maximum range. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so in determining lectures that be let's say academic year faculty and then 12-month faculty, those that are in the 2359 and the 2361 currently, those are our 12-month job codes. So those are the 12-month lecturers or tenure track faculty. So their salary carry a 15% increase. So one of the things that we're going to do is to take away that 15% to get them to their academic year base. For chairs, in the next slide, you'll look at that calculation. But going through it here, we take the monthly academic year base, we multiply that times 12 and divide it by 30 to get their unit rate. Once we have that, we're going to multiply that to, how many weighted teaching units, they're going to be teaching. So that'll give us the total amount of pay. Um, with the 12-month faculty, I said their salary carries a 15% increase. So to get them to the academic year base, we're going to take away that 15%. So we're going to divide that by 1.15. That'll get us to the academic year base. We will multiply that times 12, and that's to get them to the annual total salary. And then we divide that by 30, again, times that'll give us the unit rate, and then we multiply that times however many units they're teaching to get their total pay for the summer. So the examples below, the first example is an AY salary, straightforward, multiply the AY base salary times 12, right? Then we divide that by 30, we get that unit rate, and however many units they're teaching, in this case, it would be 3, and we get to that, the total salary compensation. With 12-month faculty, again, I said that it carries a 15% increase. So this salary amount of 8,139 already has the 15% added to it. So we're taking it away here. We get to their I'm sorry, to their academic salary. We multiply that times 12. It'll give us their full annual salary. We divide that by 30. Then we get the unit rate. And again, we just, apply the units that they're teaching to get to their total compensation. Okay, if we can go to the next slide. Okay, so for chairs, so it follows the same as the 12-month faculty, same calculation, but I mentioned earlier the salary for a chair includes a chair stipend. So what we want to do to convert their salaries to AY is that we are taking away the chair stipend first, right? And then we're going to reduce it by the 15%. So to get to their academic year base salary. And again, we apply the same formula as we multiply that times 12, and then we divide that by 30, and to get their unit rate, and again, however many units they're teaching. Now, what I want to say about chairs, typically, I mean, they're teaching 3 units and sometimes 4, and usually the fourth unit is based on the course itself, where they're teaching a lab. In very small cases, we'll have I guess, chairs that are actually teaching a little bit more than 4 units. But we definitely actually want to talk to you about that, because they shouldn't really be teaching more than a course and a lab that's tied to the course. Um, so anyway, so yeah, so here's an example. Of a chair salary. In this case, we take away the chair stipend, which is 305, and we divide that by 15, and we get to an academic year base salary. We multiply that times 12 to get to an annual salary, and then we divide that by 30, and that's how we get to their unit rate, and apply the same formula where they're teaching X amount of units, and we get their total compensation. Okay, and as an added note here, any chair or 12-month faculty appointments, they have to be completed on a par. And the approval for that, let's say the final approval, should be faculty with faculty affairs. So if those pars can get sent to faculty affairs, and the reason for this too is because we want to confirm the vacation days that will be used to subsidize for the overage So I can just tell you right off the bat, a chair who's teaching in the summer, a total of 3 units, they're going to basically be over by 16 hours. And when I say over by 16 hours is they're allowed, or as many as you know, the 125 policy. So they are going to be over by 16 hours, which is basically 2 days of vacation, and that's going to have to be charged. I believe on the summer par, it has a place where you can indicate how many vacation days if it doesn't self-populate for you. Uh, but in any case, we definitely want to confirm that so that once we send it to HR, and then our office will be communicating back to the chair and the department ASC, and also your college DFO as to how many vacation is going to be utilized. The more they teach, the more vacation days are going to be utilized. If we can move to the next slide. Okay, so this is an added slide for this year. So this is what I want to say. For 12-month faculty, which includes our chairs, um, this is, this summer is going to be the last year that chairs can actually, or 12-month faculty, both, can teach state-supported summer. Um, I know there will be many questions about this. Some of your department chairs already know this information, or the information has trickled down from the deans to the chairs. And what it is that it doesn't comply, with the CBA, right? If it was self-support, then self-support is funded through non-general fund money, but with state-supported courses, I mean, it's coming out of, or let's say the courses are supported with general fund money, right? So think of it as the same as in the academic year. Um, if a chair, a chair can't, or let's say a faculty member can't teach an additional courses above a 1.0 FTE, or a 1.0 time base, right? Full-time time base. So think of it that way. In summer, the same thing, right? But if it's state supported, they're not going to be able to teach that course. So yeah, so this is the like I said, the last summer, so beginning summer 2027, that's no longer going to be the case. Further communication will be forthcoming, I should say. I don't know when, and the communication most likely will come from faculty affairs. But if you have like individual questions, I mean, please feel free to, reach out to us, extension 2962, or by way of email, faculty.affairs, or to me directly, it's fine. Um, okay, if we can move to the next slide. Enrollment-based compensation. So all classes for summer, as some of you know, it's subject to enrollment-based compensation. So, so it says at census, if a class has fewer than 20 students, the faculty salary is reduced by 5%. So you may get a class with, maybe 20 students or more. If it starts falling below, it's being decreased by 5%, right? So I mean, hopefully that that doesn't necessarily happen to many classes, but um, basically, I mean that. So, and I guess by census, uh, Eric, if you can correct me, the department needs to send that part, right, to HR as to get their final number of students.
Right. So in
Hmm.
the event that, after census and they realize that the count is under, they would need to send over a par indicating the low enrollment and to
Hmm.
adjust the compensation based on enrollment.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. So for every student below 20, yeah, it's decreasing by 5% the salary. Okay. if we can move to the next slide. And I believe this is Kim. Kim.
Yes, hi, that is me. So we are going to move to talk about academic student employees, ASE. So I first want to say thank you to all of you for hiring academic student employees. If you think about such a great opportunity for our students to get this professional level academic experience, and hopefully they're also helpful to you as they, begin their academic professional journey. So we appreciate you all hiring them. To quickly go over the different types. So there's teaching associate, TA, graduate assistant, GA, instructional student assistant, ISA. I'm going to give a quick mnemonic device as to who is what. So for a teaching associate, one might think, you could think of it as being similar to a lecturer, though not a lecturer, right? Obviously not a lecturer, but that's more similar to the responsibilities, so forth. If you were going to say what's similar, TA similar to lecturer. Graduate assistant provides professional level experience to faculty. So perhaps more like a research assistant, though we don't use that term, but that can be your mnemonic device to think of what is a GA. And then ISA, instructional student assistant, is more similar to like tutor, although that's not the only word to describe them, but that can be your mnemonic device also. So like lecturer, research assistant, tutor, that's how you can kind of perhaps think that could be a way to think of the different categories that might help you. So the job codes are listed there, the salary ranges are listed there. When you are choosing to hire an ASE, very exciting. We have our updated, well, they're sort of updated now, like 2 years updated now, are on our Faculty Affairs website. You send them to our email address there. The new-ish forms are hopefully pretty user-friendly to fill out in terms of guiding you what to put for the salary, so forth. Um, Great. And as to the last bullet point, do not put other duties as assigned. I'm going to take you to Tom Hanks in the movie Captain Phillips in 2013. So, in this movie, Captain Phillips, they're on their boat in the middle of the ocean, but their boat is about to be overtaken by pirates. So, Captain Phillips gathers his crew on the ship and says, "Okay, crew, we're about to be attacked by pirates, so we all need to band together and work together to fight the pirates." And one of the crew members says, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. My union contract says nothing about fighting pirates." And he's right. So, similarly, with ASEs, you need to really, really, really make sure that what we are asking them to do is strictly in the classification standards in their contract. So, do not ask academic student employees to fight pirates, metaphorically or literally. Just make sure you really stay in the classification standards. Sometimes our students are lovely and wonderful and they want to do other things. Remember, no fighting pirates, no fighting pirates. You must stick to the classification standards. The good side of this is that it makes it be very clear what the responsibilities are, and we're all on the same page. And most importantly, have no problems going forward. Okay, next slide. Okay, so as to summer appointment letters, remember, appointment letters are required for all faculty and ASEs. Otherwise, if you ask them to fight pirates, they would have nothing to refer to. That says they're not supposed to. But no, really, make sure you do appointment letters. So, as to being conditional or not conditional, Unit 3 faculty, regular faculty, are conditional appointments, as Albert spoke about earlier. Conditional based on enrollment, so forth. Okay, now ASEs, Unit 11. TAs, remember we said they're similar to lecturers, so they also are conditional appointments. Now, GAs, helping faculty with research, not conditional, because you're just helping with research. Doesn't matter how many students are there or not. And then ISAs, helping with tutoring and so forth, not conditional on enrollment also. So just keep this in mind when hiring. Make sure you have enough work for them. Due to these being not conditional. So like GAs, I want to say in particular, really make sure you have enough work for them when hiring them. But hopefully you do, and there will be no issues. And they will be able to be really productive, help you a whole bunch. So as to appointment letter templates, that is on the HR page. You can see in the drop-down menu, easy to find. Okay, next slide. As to, okay, this all sounds great, but how do I actually hire academic student employees? I have here a helpful chart for you, the 11 steps of hiring Unit 11 academic student employees at CSUN. It's a flow chart there that I made. I won't go over all the steps. You can see it on there, but to answer your question, why no, I did not major in graphic design. Thanks for asking. I love the stick figures there. We'll guide you through the process. And of course, any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. We're an open door. I see several of you on this call who have reached out to me with questions. I super appreciate it. Better to reach out proactively than have there be an issue later on, have to backtrack. So really, any part of the process, wherever you are in the 11 steps path, please feel free to reach out. Thanks for your reactions on the Zoom chat too. Okay, yeah, I'll let you read this. So we'll go on to the next slide for now. Okay, and then cancellations. So faculty, right? Remember, Unit 3, and TAs. Remember how we said TAs are similar to lecturers? Thus, that is conditional. Appointment can be canceled based on budget and enrollment, which is a bummer for us to do that for a TA, but that is how it is if there's low enrollment. The faculty, R3 and TAs, are paid for the time up to the cancellation, right? Makes sense. The faculty member also may withdraw through the second class meeting if the class has fewer than 20 students, because if you don't want this enrollment-based compensation, you can bug out. Okay, so that's faculty and TAs. So GAs, remember, not conditional because they are helping with research projects. If the class that they're sort of helping with research is canceled, alternate work must be assigned. So just from like really with GAs, I want to say to put more of a fine point on it, just make sure you have enough research work for them to do. There's also no relegating GAs to ISA's work, right? No fighting pirates, don't do something different. Okay, having said that, GAs are wonderful, awesome position to have. Just really like think about it to make sure you have enough research work for them to do. Okay, and then ISAs, not conditional, makes sense, right? They're not TAs. Their appointments are hourly in range of hours. So with ISAs, I guess also just make sure you have work for them to do that fits their classification standards. But hopefully we'll have bustling, vibrant classes and be able to get a lot of work done, and they'll be able to gain lots of professional academic experience. Okay, next slide. Let's see, I think this is not me anymore. Is it? No?
Yeah, so
Oh.
so let me speak about Article 21 and summer term appointments. Um, with the academic year, there's the CBA applies to appointments in particular for lecturers. And in summer, I mean, the CBA still has provisions about summer. So, so all appointments in the summer are voluntary. Doesn't mean that the department can just pick anyone to offer a course to. Voluntary in this case means that, the course is offered following the order of assignment because there's order of assignment in the summer, and it's voluntary in the sense whether the faculty member accepts or doesn't accept. And this is all state-supported courses. Before some years ago, we had self-support. So those actually can be offered to anyone. With state support courses, ever since that move, it's restricted to following the order of assignment per the faculty collective bargaining agreement. So the campus must meet a 41%. It's different for different campuses. For Northridge, it's 41%. And so what this means is that, and our recommendation is is that all departments offer to their probationary and tenured faculty work first. Again, this is following the article in the provision, Article 21.24. Then courses may be offered to volunteer administrators or teaching associates, um, followed by your Y3 faculty. And here we say Y3 or Y1 lecturers whose entitlements were not met in the academic year. I would preface that you start with the Y3s first before this is offered to a Y1. So again, and these are 3-year appointees and 1-year appointees. 3-year appointees whose entitlement, okay, I'm going to stress that enough, entitlement was not met during the academic year. Summer can be used to meet the entitlement. And then after that, next we would offer it to Y3s, regardless if their entitlement has already been met, followed by Y1s or S1s who worked in the preceding academic year, which would be 25-26 academic year. So once and if you and there's still work available, the department could actually offer work to new candidates, new S1s. Maybe they were in your pools and person has never worked. I mean, now you can offer it to S1s. Um, brand new people. Brand new S1s. Yeah. Can we move to the next slide? Okay, so it's important to note that summer may play, or maybe let's say with summer teaching for lectures, entitlement may be applicable or not, depending on whether a lecturer worked either in fall and spring. In fall, let's put it this way: fall and spring, and or stateside summer, right? So the 3 examples I highlighted here is how the entitlement is configured for lectures. So example 1, fall and spring, two consecutive semesters. So working 2 consecutive semesters, um, that gives let's say that's like the criteria for unit entitlement. So working 2 consecutive semesters, either fall and spring, which is example 1, um, and example 3, um, spring and stateside summer, absent fall. Okay. In example 2, we have fall, spring, and summer. Now, the entitlement is going to be based on the first 2 consecutive semesters, which would be fall and spring. Summer would not be added to the entitlement. So it's either going to be example 1 or example 3. So one of the things is to, to just keep in mind when you're making offers, for next academic year, let's say next fall, in the summer, it's important to just track what if they taught spring and stateside summer absent fall, because what happens is they'll go into a 1-year entitlement, 1-year contract with a unit entitlement. 4, 5, and 6 examples, those do not accrue entitlement. So if we can move to the next slide. Oh, okay. So Yessie.
Thank you, Albert. The additional employment policy, or better known as the 125% rule, applies during the summer term. AY faculty may perform stipend additional work up to 75 days or 600 hours, and the maximum units that they're allowed to teach during the summer term is 12 units, and that is among both state and extended learning. Department chairs and other 12-month faculty may do stipend work up to 15 days or 120 hours. 12-month faculty who are teaching a 3-unit course over summer are not allowed to complete any other additional work because how Albert mentioned earlier, a 3-unit course is worth 136 hours, so there's already a 16-hour overage. So that is why they cannot complete other additional work. If the 12-month faculty is teaching a course, vacation time must be charged for any time that exceeds the 120 hours. As Albert mentioned, PARs will be required to process the teaching work. Please make sure to send these to additional.pay@csun.edu before the summer session ends. The vacation time must be included on the PAR, and the vacation time will automatically be processed by HR. Next slide, please. Here are some reminders. Non-exempt staff that are hired as instructors will be due overtime pay if their workload exceeds a full-time workload. Faculty cannot work during the summer term. And if there are any rehired annuitants that are completing additional work during the summer, please have them contact our office because they have workload limitations. They are limited to 960 hours per fiscal year or 50% of their time base preceding retirement, whichever is less. So it is very important that they are aware of their workload limitations. Another reminder, the additional pay module will prevent departments and employees from entering additional pay requests for faculty on leave status. And that is because these requests must be reviewed by Faculty Affairs first to make sure that the faculty is indeed eligible to complete the additional work while on leave status. Next slide, please. Here is the summer session table. There's an illustration of the maximum possible workload scenarios for summer. You notice if they teach 12 units, which is the maximum in session 1, they cannot teach units in session 2 or 3. If they teach 9 units in session 1, they cannot teach units in session 2 and 3. If 6 units are taught in session 1, they can teach 3 units in session 2 and 3. If 3 units are taught in session 1, 3 units can be taught in session 2 and 3 units in session 3. If there are no units taught in session 1, 6 units can be taught in session 2 and 6 units in session 3. Please make sure to consult with our office before assigning an instructor a combination that would exceed any of these combinations listed above. Next slide, please. Pay request for the 4062 Special Consultant hourly job code can be processed via the additional pay module only for employees with an active faculty position. You would need to complete the pre-authorization prior to the work being completed. I've listed the details that are required for the 4062 pre-authorization request. And just keep in mind that the request for 4662 does require a 2-step approval process. That is the pre-authorization and the payment authorization. The payment authorization confirms that the work was completed and is essentially what gets the employee paid. We have step-by-step guides available on the Faculty Affairs webpage, and you have our link right here. Next slide, please. When you are entering an additional pay request for the summer term, you will see this prompt. The prompt is asking if the employee you are initiating an additional pay request for is teaching courses during the summer under job code 2457. The reason for this is, as Eric mentioned earlier, these job codes or these teaching assignments are processed through the HR summer module, which is a separate system from the additional pay system. These systems do not communicate with one another. So in order for the additional pay system to capture the FTE that is being absorbed by teaching courses in the summer, we must ask whether the faculty member is teaching during the summer. This is how the additional pay system obtains that information. If the employee is not teaching during the summer term, you would select no. Next slide, please. If the faculty member is teaching during the summer term, you would select yes, and this would open up. You would then have to indicate how many units are being taught for each session. The system will then calculate how much FTE is being absorbed for each session and as a summer as a whole, and will also let you know how much FTE is available for other additional work thereafter. Please make sure to not enter units being taught through same college, job codes 2322 or 2363 in this table. The reason for that is because these are considered additional pay, so the FTE is already accounted for. Okay, we are just looking for the units being taught on the state side during the summer session, job code 2457. Next slide, please. Keep in mind that you will receive the following prompt, whether you select yes or no, when it asks if the employee is teaching during the summer. Make sure you select yes, because here the system is just asking you to confirm that the information you have completed up to now is correct. If you select no, the system will not allow you to move forward with the entry or the pre-authorization. Next slide, please. Here we have created a chart that we hope will be helpful to you as far as knowing what the process consists of and who your contact person is depending on the type of request you have. So for entering requests for active faculty, you would do this by processing the request through the additional pay module. It would consist of a pre-authorization and a payment authorization. And if you have any questions, you would contact Faculty Affairs at additional.pay@csun.edu. For existing staff employees, you would do this via timesheet, and you would make sure that the time is entered and approved by the posted deadlines on the university payroll calendar. Your contact person is Eric Cuevas in HR.
Yes,
For-
I'm sorry.
sorry.
Yes, I can kind of add a little bit to that. So,
Okay.
so that is for existing staff employees who have an existing 4662 appointment in their job data in Solar HR. So that's kind of what that meant as far as the time will be entered via the timesheet. That'll be handled kind of similarly in the way that a temporary or maybe like a student staff employee is kind of being handled, that you would enter in their hours. And just kind of a little bit more on new staff employees. So let's say it's a brand new employee and they're being hired on as an hourly special consultant. That will be done through the CHRS recruitment process. As far as that kind of onboarding, that initial kind of hire, the point of contact would be talent acquisition. I've also included their email there. Yessie also, was going to bring up probably the future faculty as far as the way the system kind of works. So the additional pay module doesn't recognize future hire dates. So even though we have a faculty member that's slated to work, in fall perhaps, and they're going to be teaching 4062 in the summer, it won't recognize it. So that 4062 request will need to go through CHRS recruitment as if it were a staff. So just something to consider when you're reviewing these kinds of special pays. Should you have any kind of changes that need to be done on a staff only 4662, I am asking that you submit an action request form over to my attention. Just note the new hourly rate that needs to be paid out and the effective date of the change. We usually align those changes with the first day of the pay period. You can refer to that on the university payroll calendar. I don't know, yes, you wanted to add a little bit more details on the faculty on leave. I know that's kind of there's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts on that one.
Correct. So as previously mentioned, the system, the additional pay system does not allow departments or employees to enter requests for faculty on a leave status. So you would just need to contact our office so that we can look into it and see whether or not the faculty member can complete this work while on leave. And you can either contact our office via phone 2962 or email, or you can also email me directly.
And yeah, just a reminder, academic student employees or rehired annuitants are not eligible for 4662. But if you do have questions, you can contact Faculty Affairs. The next slide goes back to me. Thank you so much, Yessie, and thank you so much, Faculty Affairs. All right, so 4062 appointments for staff only employees. So I know there's been a lot of questions as far as, okay, well, let's say, we were talking about faculty, we can enter that through the addition of a mod, but what if they are no longer have an active faculty appointment? Well, then these would be hired through the CHRS recruitment process. Should you have any questions on that kind of onboarding process, like I mentioned before, you can reach out to talent acquisition at csun.edu for more questions. Yeah, the pay is handled similar to an hourly staff employee. So you would be entering in their hours after the position has been established, and you would enter in the hours via timesheet. Just a reminder that this is positive pay. So what that means is that time worked in a given month is going to be paid out for the following pay cycle. So let's say they have work that's performed in May, that won't get issued out until June 15th. And again, this is also subject to as long as the time has been entered and approved by the posted time entry and time approval deadlines on the university payroll calendar. So it is a bit of a shorter process for these staff employee 4062 payments, if you will, that the faculty one has the two-step authorizations. These are treated more as almost like a casual worker, hourly staff sort of employee group. That's how the pay would be kind of issued out. We are posting a 4062 FAQs, given that there's plenty of questions in regards to this, that we posted on the HR toolkit that will direct you to where all the academic personnel items are on our new website. And it'll kind of go into more detail as far as the delineation between entering in for faculty and entering them for staff. I think this goes back to Yessie.
Thank you, Eric.
Okay.
Job codes used for St. College, cohorted courses only, job codes 2322 and 2363. Please make sure to contact Sylvia Argueta in St. College with any questions. Please keep in mind that if changes are required, only Faculty Affairs will have access to make changes. So again, you would have to contact our office to look into that. We have guides and resources available on the additional pay system available on our Faculty Affairs webpage. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact us via extension 2962 or email at additional.pay@csun.edu. Feel free to contact me directly as well with any additional pay related questions.
All right. Thank you so much, Yessie.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate your help. But all right, so on to academic personnel processing. We're in the home stretch, guys. Don't worry. I'll try to go through this as quickly as I can. But as far as the PARs we've been mentioning and the summer and low enrollment calculators for enrollment-based compensation, those will be posted on the HR toolkit. They have instructions and they have plenty of examples and scenarios that you can use as like templates to kind of go off of to process these. So I'm a little scared and a little happy to hear that this may potentially be the last semester, the last summer session at least, where we'll need to use the PAR for a lot of our functions, as we will be implementing the Common Human Resources System effective March 2027. So that means that for the summer, most likely that once we kind of roll that out to the campus, most of these entries will be done through the temporary academic employee module. I think they abbreviate to TAE. And a lot of these calculations and a lot of these kinds of entries will kind of already be built in for you to kind of submit the payments for summer. So it'll definitely kind of cut down a lot of the work that we have to do kind of, that we're doing here with these, personal action request forms, the calculators and all that. So hopefully that will cut down on a lot of the entry a lot of the headaches that maybe come in with trying to remember a lot of these business rules that we provide. But yes, but as far as these resources, they will be available on HR Toolkit. It should redirect you to the academic personnel webpage that'll kind of provide all of the links via Box. Just to give kind of a brief overview on hiring in the summer modules. So once you log into your HR portal, under HR, I think it's in the top navigation bar, you would select HR admin, and that'll take you to this page. And from here, obviously your options may vary, but here you would select summer session faculty. And then it should take you to the summer session search page. You would enter in the department ID, select the job code and session. And then you kind of go from there. So you would look up the job code. It should default to 2457. Something important to note, and this tends to come up basically at this point every summer session. But if they are teaching more than one session, you need to enter them in numeric order. Otherwise, you'll need a par to correct. So, if you know that they're going to fall into that kind of scenario that they're going to be teaching, 3 units in session 2 and then 3 units in session 3, do session 2 first and then do session 3. Otherwise, if you do them out of order, it can cause an issue and you'll need a par to revise it. But yeah, so can just enter in the required information. You would select the term that'll be populated there, and you would enter in and you would search for the employee. So then you can check the employee details by clicking more info once the search results pop up, and you confirm that it is the correct employee with the select button. With the more info, I think that pulls up the summer session faculty detail, kind of provides what their primary position info looks like. And then from there, you would enter in the unit rate. So again, it's subject to the 1/30th rate that we've been discussing. So it should populate if it is for the same position that's related to their home department. So if they're teaching in psychology, and then they'll also have a 2457 in psychology department, it should populate the calculation, the rate already calculated. It won't calculate for faculty who worked fall but were not active in the spring. So for those employees, you will need to calculate the rate yourself. I would suggest maybe using the calculator to kind of to verify, and then you would insert that into the unit rate section, and then you would hit save. So in a nutshell, I think that's about it for entries. But yeah, so we have about 5 minutes left on the presentation. Just want to leave it open for questions, any Q&A. But for anyone else who does not have any questions, I just want to say thank you so much for attending, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.